Hey you guys, thanks for joining me. Give me a minute while I get set up. And hold on, and I will get mine set up. Let's see if the audio is working.
Canva is the free tool that makes designing anything easy. Canva has all my content creation needs covered. Our whole team uses Canva.
All right, is the audio working? Give me a yes or no, you guys, if you hear it.
All right, is the audio working? Give me a...
All right, cool. Sounds like it is. All right, so one thing I've done since I made the video is I actually added a light behind the lava. It's not moving or anything, and I thought it was kind of cool. And you can see how it's lit up there. Once I turn all my studio lights on, you won't be able to see it though. So I'll show you what I did. Is I got this table for tracing. If I can get this out of here. Oh, there we go. I got this giant glowing table for tracing, for drawing and stuff. And it's pretty cool. My wife got it for me because she got a different one that was smaller. And so just throwing that behind the lava just gives it that really cool effect, as if it's lit up a little bit. Now again, the chasing lights feature will look way cooler later on. But anyway, I'm here today for your questions and answers. Let me first turn my lights on. Lights on. Woo! There we go. All right, so let's take a look at your guys' questions you might have. So let's see. Pax says, what's up? Hey, Pac. And so as I mentioned in the video, it's crazy how small these walkways are. I just cannot believe it. I imagine that going up these walkways would have been really cool for a lot of the figures, but then realizing that, that the walkway is just so small and they have to actually crawl on their belly to go through here. That's kind of why I made the video of me kind of playing with the figures to show you. Yeah, I know. Fisto can save himself, but you know what? He-Man got captured too, so there you go. So what's cool is you take a look. Here's the size of our old figures, our 5 1/4 figures. Except for the Hebrew sitting around. And let's see how these guys fit on here. I mean, what the heck, right? Because we know it's about the same size as Origins. And they fit rather nice, actually. So if you have some 5 1/2 figures, that will go really good for going up here. And they can even stay on the thing better because they're not as big. So you can actually have them walk up different spots and actually fight along the stairs like they're supposed to, just because of the size difference, because they're smaller. So that's kind of cool. So for 5 1/2, it is massively amazing. For classics, it's still massive and awesome, but you just can't really get them to stand on those areas because it's just a little bit too tight. You have to really bend their ankles to get them to fit on there. Even then, it's just hard. Come on, He-Man, you can do it. There we go. All right, let's check the questions we have. He-Man never saved Fisto. Yeah, hey, you probably should have saved him early on, but oh well. Maybe Fisto could have saved He-Man afterwards. Yeah, I was surprised I got mine. I was really hoping I would. When we get the story behind Hebrew. So I found someone who's planning on helping me with the interview, and she said she'd help me with the interview, so that's cool. So we're going to do the interview via Zoom, and then I'll record it and put it on YouTube, and I'll give you guys the story then. If you don't want to wait for that, go to he-bro.com, and I have the story on there as well. And there's a link to it to Hebrew's bio on there. Looks like an old wrestling toys from the 80s. Yep. He does. He's actually Clamp Champ. I am Clamp Champ. And then he has yellow armor, and he has the gold sword from the Thunder Punch He-Man. I painted his cuffs green and his belt green. So there you go. Is there a Castle Grayskull equivalent? Yes, there is. There is actually a giant Castle Grayskull that they made a number of years ago. On the secondary market right now, it goes for right around $1,000, so it's kind of spendy. But am I still connected? My phone shot out. Let's see. Hopefully, I'm still live. All right, so and if you want to have a video on that Castle Grayskull, I got kind of the whole entire video of my walkthrough and things I added to it. Now, what's funny is how small Snake Mountain looks next to this new Snake Mountain. There's the original one right there. You could use it as an annex or some small little add-on thing if you wanted to, because it's just so small in comparison. I hope to make an Origin Snake Mountain, but I'm guessing if they do, it will probably be the same size as the old Snake Mountain, since Castle Grayskull is also the same size as the old Snake Mountain. All right, so I did notice the snake itself does not move. A little, I guess it moves a little bit up and down, just because it's when you attach it, you have to actually wind it and pop it on. I'm gonna get it back off there. I can't. So, but it won't go any further down because there's a stopping point there. So. So I'd ask again, are there plans to release an Origins He-Man with a better head? Yes, they are. It's going to be the Battle Armor version comes with a secondary head. So once the Battle Armor version comes out, we'll get that secondary head that looks like the one you got with the 2-pack. All right. So, do you guys have any other questions you want to know about this Snake Mountain? I'm always trying to figure out something for the lights. It's going to be so cool once we get something figured out. I can't wait to do something with that lava. I didn't look for a switch on the inside for this. I don't know if there is or not, or if it's just spring-loaded. I think it's just spring-loaded. I don't think there's a switch on the inside. I'll have to check it out and see. Yeah, if you guys want, I do have a video on those figures coming out. And so you should be able to take a look and see what they announced when they talked about the Battle Armor He-Man. I don't remember either. I just know that it came with the one that looked like from the 2-pack. Oh yeah, the thing that used to be the microphone. Let's go ahead and talk about that. There it is right here. And basically it's just a big giant pillar that sits on the inside. But wait, there's more. There's also a secret hidden spot. Right here, you open it up and it shows in the picture it's made for their weapons and stuff to put in there. But I found out once you put this into the castle, it has to lean forward a little bit for it to work. And so now you can't open the door because it rides on the floor of the castle. So because you can't put it on the floor, it sits there and rides on the bottom. It doesn't open. If you turn it around the other way, which that way it does work, then the head's facing the wrong way, and this hole's off center. You notice it's not exactly centered, so now it doesn't line up anymore with the crevice cut out. I've been trying to see if you can turn just the head around. I don't know why they didn't face the head the other direction. Of course, you have the same problem. This still isn't centered, but I don't know. And it's kind of a cool feature, having a hidden feature in there. I imagine if you took a really small figure, you could put them in there, but it's made for their weapons and stuff. So you can take like the Havoc staff. Well, the Havoc staff doesn't fit in there. It's too tall. No. Okay, you can put Evil Lynn staff in there then, I guess. What the heck? It's just off by like a ½ inch. See, you can't even put it up inside the hole in there. So I guess you can't put the Havoc staff in there, but you can put other weapons in there. Oh well. Now it did also come with the throne. I did not take Skeletor to see how he fits in there. Let's see. Here is Skeletor. Let's go ahead and see if he fits in there. How well he fits. Wow, he's got a long ways to go to sit down there. Oh. But if you have the old Skeletor from the 80s, the heat would work perfect in there. Look at that. So the 80s one would work awesome in there again. I know this was not made for the 80s, but it sure looks like somebody might have patterned the seat height off of the 80s figures. I might create some sort of a base on here to lift it up a little bit so you can actually sit on there. That's probably what's going to happen at this, is he's going to have some sort of base just to get a little bit off the ground. Looks like you need about a half-inch base for it to work, to have him sit in there comfortably. Yeah, the bone throne is tight. It's just unfortunately not the wrong size. Put Hebrew on the throne. Yep. Awesome throne. Man spread Scully. Yeah. Yeah, it's the only way he can sit on there. That's crazy. So again, like I said, I'll probably take the bottom of this and I'll probably throw it on my my printer scanner to get the exact shape, and then extrude it out and then print a 3D base for this that will just lift it up just a little bit. You know, I might alter it a little bit too and have some stuff sticking off. You know, some little curl things coming off. That'd be kind of cool to give it some shape and some design. So, I used a spawn throw 20 years ago. Excellent idea. Yep, I actually made mine out of foam. Here's my original throne that I made a long time ago. I just took a bunch of foam, I cut it up, and I used spray glue and stuck it together and stacked it up as my throne. And look, even this seat's higher than this one. And Skeletor worked really good in there. I just set him in there just like that. And it was cool having this big old giant stone throne that he had. I got the idea because when I was a kid, my sister got some new speakers, and the speakers in the corners had these little squares that were cut out, and I took the two squares and put them together, and it made a seat. I thought, that's cool. So I used that idea to make this. It's just made out of soft foam. But man, I made this thing so long ago. As you can tell, it's starting to peel up from the glue not sticking anymore, but that was my original one. Let's see, both the throne and the mic thing not holding the Havoc staff is kind of a letdown. Yeah, I can't believe it didn't hold the Havoc staff. It's so tall. You know, if they would have just gone a step further and hollowed this area out up here, you know, and made it one piece instead of two. And even with this, they have this in here like this, so you think the head could turn, which is also kind of a miss. They have a piece of plastic locked right here in the corner that holds that from turning. Which even that would have been a cool feature to turn the head, you know, but that's even stuck as well. So just some slight little things like that. All the ground being angled outwards. So if they were just angled at the other direction, then they could have had footholds and stand in it. But everything's angled away. I know why. It fits in the mold better. When you have molds that and you need to pull it out of a mold, if they're angled up, it will get stuck in the mold, but angled down, they can get it out easy. So that's the reason for the way it's shaped. You know, it makes sense. Obviously, they have to manufacture it, but it would have been nice if they would have angled these differently to help it fit. Yep, some sound effects would have been really cool. I hope they come out with an app or something. That would be kind of fun too. Anyone make their own capes for Shredder when you were kids? I used to make capes all the time. Made one for my Darth Vader, made one for my Baron Karza. They're always really cool. Let's see, how many mechanics to elongate their necks if they couldn't elongate their necks? Yeah, I don't have a mechanic sitting out right now, but they did have that two necks they had. They came with a short one and a long one. But yeah, it'd be cool to use something like this to create Mechanex's neck. It's a giant twist tie made for luggage and stuff. But imagine if you were to do this right, or see if you can find one that's already silver or black. That'd make a really cool. Silver would work perfect. I got a yellow one because I got it for luggage, like it's supposed to be used for. And I actually use it for my lighting and stuff when I'm doing lighting. But it's just a giant twist tie that you can wrap around stuff. But it's about the same thickness as Mechanex's neck. So if you were to use something like this, get one in silver or gray, and then somehow change the bottom so it actually work for the figure, and then make a neck piece, that could work pretty cool. I mean, granted, you wouldn't use the whole entire thing because that'd be a little ridiculous for length, but you could use some wire cutters and cut it in half. So I'm sure it'll be sharp, so be careful because it's metal inside if you do decide to go with something like that. All right. Good to hear it, bro. I'm not the only one. Missed the lighting effect. That is that custom you did. Yep, let me go and turn off the lights so you can see it again. Lights off. There we go. There's the lights. Yep. Let's see, I used to take some licks from a... Oh, that's not good, man. Duh. Sorry to hear that, Pack. All right, so another thing they came with was this table, which was so cool. I tried to make my own custom one a long time ago with using a giant glass marble in the middle and a magic trick that projects the thing inside up to the bottom. And so with his bone throne, there is a lot of space. You can see with the smaller figures, they actually didn't make this tall enough. So if I was to raise this up like I was talking about, it would still work for Skeletor to sit at the throne. So I don't need to raise the throne too, or not the throne, but the table too. I was afraid I might have to raise this to match, but it looks like they made this tall enough. I think their intent was to have figures stand around it. So it does work for figures standing around. So that's kind of cool. So I guess I'll raise that throne up and see how it works. There we go. The throne came with it. It's not a custom. So, yep, this is part of Stake Mountain that you get. It is very nice, very cool, just a little too short. One day I like to get my Ultimate Grail, Castle Grayskull from Classics. Yeah, it is really cool. I love my Castle Grayskull. It's awesome. Someone talking about the Origins Merman. All right. Well, if that's all the questions you guys have, I'm going to go ahead and end the video soon. Just a heads up. Here's the different sizes compared to the original one and the new one. And so really it's not that much bigger, the new one. The old one's actually longer. Oops, I guess I gotta raise that up so you guys can see. Sorry about that. The old one's actually longer, which was kind of a cool feature. This one's a lot shorter, it only goes across just the lava stream. And what's interesting about the old one is this was not a straight shot, it was curved. And so this had to kind of go around the bend, where the new one is just a straight shot. So thanks, Pack. Yep. And I did do a comparison picture of this compared to the one that was shown at the con. And it does appear to be a little bit shorter when I tried to line it up. I can't be for certain about that, but it just looks like it might have just been like maybe an inch and a half, 2 inches shorter. But I could be wrong about that. Jackson, that's funny. Yep, does seem to be that way. That Classics is the way you remember figures looking, and Origins is the way how they actually look. That is hilarious. Yeah, it's crazy. Is when 2000X came out, I remember getting those figures and looking at them, and I'd show some people that played with He-Man figures when they were kids, and they're like, yeah, these are like the figures I remember. And then I pull out the old figures, and I'm like, oh, it's not at all like the figures I remember. So yeah, that was kind of funny. Wow, you lost a component for a Megatron, huh? That stinks. All right. So, any other questions about Snake Mountain? Well, I did lick the whole mountain down, and it's very salty. Just a heads up there, Crank. I knew you'd be asking. The actual lava stream itself is spicy, but the rest of it's salty. Kind of reminds me of a bad taco. All right. Okay, you guys, and just so you know, this is the exit to the secret entrance, and the secret entrance is shorter than the figures, I found out. So another miss. You have to actually duck the figures down. I had to crunch them down as far as I could to fit in there. And even then, I couldn't put them back very far, because the further you get back, the shorter it gets. So if you're going to put a figure through the hole, you're going to have to actually turn them sideways and jam them through to the other side, as opposed to actually posing them, having them walk through, which would have been really cool if they just made it just like another inch taller there. His head is actually riding on the top. So that's kind of a bummer right there. Have you guys noticed all these faces in here? It's kind of creepy. See that one right there? They got all these crazy faces, like it's like a molten giant human mess of flesh. You can even see here you got like vein looking things and bulbs. I know it's supposed to be tree branches or something hanging down, but I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. Some kind of vines intertwined, but it looks also very veiny too. All right, so it did come with a ladder. Looks very similar to the ladder that came with Castle Grayskull. Oh, in case you're wondering about that dish I got, here is the food dish I got. I just ordered it on Amazon. It's made for mealworms for your lizard, and I got the large one, and it is called Reptile Food Dish by Zodmed or Zoomed, and it's called Reptile Rock. So there you go if you want to order your own. I'm going to coat this in something that looks like brickwork and then put it back into the castle. So it'll be kind of cool, the mountain. And the other piece was from the DC, what was it? The Savage Lands or whatever it's called. And I just pulled it out of there and used that. You guys are crazy. You're pretty funny. Will you do a lightning effect on the table? Sure. There you go. There you go, Chris. Let's see. Pack loves the creepy faces. We're not presenting all those souls in the comic. Is that how it happened? Crazy. Shout out to Crank. Hey, Crank. I guess he has the problems according to this. I never understood the purpose of Snake Mountain. The whole point of the line was to get control of Grayskull. Yep, but it's nice to have a spot for the bad guys to hang out. And of course, you know, it was a different year than Castle Grayskull. They want to keep making money. So Mattel kicked out another. And originally it's supposed to be a jungle scene. I don't know if you guys ever seen the original picture. It was actually way cooler. Let me go and pull this out for a minute. See if I can kind of show you guys what they were planning. Oh. So the original Snake Mountain. Let me open this up. You can just see how small it is next to the giant one. It's It's ridiculously the different size difference. See, there's a throne I used for the Snake Mountain I stole from the DC thing too. So the original one was actually going to be a jungle thing, and this piece was the same. This piece was different. This one, and it had like a river flowing down the center here. It still had the same bridge right here. It had like a giant cave area where the face is on this side right here. So you can put a figure up in there. And then it had a boulder down here in the bottom corner that would come out. And it was all kind of green and plush, and it was really cool looking. So that was the original idea they had, was to make it a jungle theme. And then for some reason they decided to make it Snake Mountain, probably because of the cartoon, but it looks nothing like the cartoon version, which most people thought was kind of funny because, you know, I think they should have just released it as a jungle themed set. But anyway, and the idea is a snake can come up for the jungle theme set and whoosh, attack you, and you fall through. So never made to be Skeletor's throne originally, or Skeletor's thing originally. So She-Ra's intro was better because it was later. You think about it, Filmation already had a whole bunch of backing. They already had a bunch of stuff made. The writers were already used to writing stuff. Even the storylines for She-Ra are better than He-Man. They actually have more science in it and make more sense. When I watch some of the She-Ra ones, like she goes in space, she has to turn her sword into a helmet. It's like, okay, that makes sense. But He-Man can go in space on his wind ray, which works off. Okay, didn't have much scientific stuff in it at all. Yep, She-Ra is much more better written. I think when they planned that, the whole rebellion thing was a really cool idea. Yeah, it was way cooler. Later on in classics, they tried to capitalize on the idea that He-Man's on the run and all the Masters of the Universe, good guys, were on the run too, and Skeletor took over, and he's now like the Emperor of Eternia, and that's when they made the Thunder Punch He-Man. That's why he's so crusty white, because he's supposed to be lost his tan from living underground, but that's a different storyline. Lifting a pond. Yep, that's not very scientific. I'm curious, if we were to break all the episodes down and look at who wrote what, I wonder if we'd see a pattern in certain writers that were more scientific than ones that weren't. That's funny. There is a lot of sculpting, and you're right, the paint is sparse. There is some surprising spots, like they have a little gray patch right here and some black right here, which is kind of surprising. They take the detail to do that. The eyes are actually sculpted in. They're not just flat. Oh, let me show you the eyes there. So that's really cool. And then, like you said, there's lots of sculpting. So there's a lot of graying on all the points. And then, of course, the snake itself has quite a lot of dark shadowing on it as well with the paints. So I think they did a really good job. It's literally going through the opening. So the snake's cut in half. So it starts this way and then has this part shooting out of the side where there's no snake in the middle. And so it's kind of a little disjointed. And it looks cool if you don't think about it. But in reality, it's kind of weird the way they have it disjointed like that. Let's see. Let's try to read these comments you guys have coming in. I like the idea of Skeletor in control of Castle Grayskull. It makes sense. He's got a skull face. It has a skull. I mean, the original toy had a flag. You would turn the flag over depending on which side or which group owned it at that moment, the good guys or the bad guys. So they intentionally had it set up to be both good guys and bad guys. Please notice me. Oh, let's see. Alabottom lift it to God? No. I'm sorry. I can't read your name very good. all dent. Sorry, man. I like Skeletor defeating everyone. Yeah, you know how I feel about Skeletor. Let's see. I didn't like the 2000X, how Snake Mountain was the Snake Men's home. That was kind of interesting. That all of a sudden you had the Snake Men take over, and how quickly they defeated Skeletor and everybody. That was kind of funny. When the Merman broke, I remember we all kind of gasped, they killed Merman. And people online were typing on He-Man.org saying, I can't believe they killed Merman. That was crazy. Are you going to get an Origin Snake Mountain 2 if they make it? Probably not. But then again, I didn't say I was going to get a Castle Grayskull, and I ended up ordering it. There are a lot of figures I said I wasn't going to get, but I ended up getting them anyway. So I guess we'll see if I actually end up getting it or not when I see it. But I'm not planning. I don't want to make Origins a whole new thing I collect. I think Classics is probably my last thing that I actually collect. I have one last figure to get in Classics, and I finally ordered it on eBay a week ago. It's coming in the mail, so to get it Monday. And once I get that one last figure, I will have every Classics ever made. I am awesome. I guess, Crank, you're going to have to get them for me and let me know how they taste, man. Sorry, man. Hey, Gabrielle, thanks for joining us. Yeah, when King Hiss took over, when he actually took it over, it did grow 3 heads. That was kind of crazy. All right, anyway, I'm going to call it an evening. Thanks for joining, you guys. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. And I will see you guys next video. Let's get this channel booming, like I say every single time. And I should have some more cool stuff coming up. I still have my giant custom, well, not giant, but my big custom Beastman when he's making soon. He'll loosely be based off this guy, but he'll be big because he's going to use the body from Bigfoot. And if you get a chance, check out my Laser Guns and Roses. For some reason, people don't like choosing to watch it. Once they watch it, everyone says they love it. It's kind of crazy. It doesn't show up very often on YouTube, so I got to ask people to watch it. Click it, like it, subscribe. It's called Laser Guns and Roses, and you'll find it on my channel. It's in the stop motion section. Check it out, and it's kind of fun. It's a mixture of Star Wars and He-Man all together. It was kind of a fun project I did. So Laser Guns and Roses, check it out. And let's see, Netflix continuation of He-Man. Oh, that's going to be so cool. I cannot wait for that new show to come out. Thanks, Pack. I appreciate that. Yep. Laser Guns and Roses. It's about the Rose Tico action figures and what we have to do with them. So check it out. All right, you guys. I will talk to you next video. Thanks for watching. And peace out. Bye. Good journey.